Hello everyone and welcome to this Video Sans Frontières video. My name is Jay Wakefield and I would like to start out by wishing you all a happy new year. I'd also like to say thank you for those of you who have been watching my videos throughout 2014, and of course thank you for watching to those of you who have actually been watching since before 2014. And thanks to those of you who for some reason have decided to punish yourself by watching every single video that I have put out publicly on this channel. Really appreciate the support. But in this video I wanted to talk a wee bit about 2015, about some of the stuff that I think is going to be important, some of the stuff that is actually coming up this year. And I would like to talk a wee bit about my thoughts on these things. I would also like to talk a bit about the short term, what I hope should be coming up on the Video Sans Frontières channel in the immediate future. So I'm not going to be giving a forecast as to what I'm going to be doing, all throughout the year, but certainly I do have plans to, as regards to videos, I've got plans to make a couple of certain videos. I've been requested to make some by Road Geek, and that brings me on to the first thing. I am looking for new content. As always, I do like to scout around for content. I'm not necessarily running out of ideas, but I'm just saying, it's nice to, sometimes, be able to do something that maybe someone's requested. So if there's anything that you'd like to see me, make a video of on this channel, it's got to be a reasonable thing. I'm not, I can't necessarily film myself I don't know, throwing myself off of, the battlements of Dunnottar Castle or anything. It would have to be kind of reasonable, for me to do something. But certainly, if there's something you'd like to see, please, comment on this video. Comments should be open, and unless it's somewhere in the future and I've turned the comments off for whatever reason, but yeah, please feel free to make a request of anything that you'd like to see on this channel. Anyway, 3 minutes in, so this year then, what have we got coming up this year? Well, there's quite a lot of things. So, I may as well just get straight to it. First of all, I'm going to start out by talking politics. Really sorry about this, but, it is quite an important year. 2014, as, a lot of you will know, was the year of the Scottish independence referendum. Now, I was, and still am, a big yes supporter. Now, the referendum, this particular referendum may be over, and the official campaigns, have came to a close. However, there's still a lot of campaigning happening on both sides of the argument. Certainly the yes side of the argument, a lot of people, I must admit, I feel this way. I do feel that the referendum was a wee bit tampered with. I don't believe that it was completely above board. And I certainly know that on the no side, that people were ringing up old age pensioners saying that their pensions would be stopped if Scotland became independent, which of course is not true. You will still continue to get your pension wherever you are. However, like I said, both sides are still fighting. They're still campaigning. They're still trying to get people, information to people. They're still trying to kind of recruit people. And certainly there's been a massive amount of people that have joined you know, the so-called Yes parties, the Scottish National Party, the Scottish Green Party, and the Scottish Socialist Party, you know, they've seen a huge rise in members. The SNP have seen the most new members join. You know, I signed up. You know, I'm a member of the SNP, and you know, I think they can do great things. You know, I think they have done great things. But this year is actually the UK general election. The last general election was held in 2010, and this is where we got the current coalition government, who basically just brought untold misery to millions. A wee bit like Richard Hammond's Wipeout. No, I'm only kidding on. But that was actually a joke on the Top Gear Bolivian special in 2009. But you know, there's obviously going to be a lot of campaigning, especially if you're in the UK. You know, around the time of the election, everyone is going to be doing your head in, trying to get you to vote for them. I know that the SNP are going to be running for seats in Westminster this year. You know, and I think that's a good thing, because certainly after the no vote, a lot of the Westminster parties are now basically treating Scotland like a small child, a small petulant child, and I personally don't like that. You know, it's like, oh yeah, you've got your no vote, now you're going to pay. And I predicted that this would happen. It'd be 1979 all over again. You know, it's like Scotland voted against devolution, and you know, became the guinea pig state for Margaret Thatcher's hated poll tax. You know, things like that. Margaret Thatcher, I believe, was not too keen on Scottish people. But, you know, if you want my personal opinion, then that's fine. If not, you probably have to skip this bit. But personally, I would not vote any of the status quo. Labour, Conservative, Liberal, Democrat. As far as I'm concerned, they're all Tories, you know. And I certainly wouldn't vote the actual Tories, the Conservative Party. Seriously, they only work if you are rich. I think it's time to actually turn towards other parties now, you know. I think, I mean, some people might say better the devil you know than the devil you don't know. But I certainly believe that, I mean, for us in Scotland, we have, for the first time, an SNP majority government, and they've done quite a lot for us. It's about time in the UK, you know, the rest of the UK, we started to look towards parties like the SNP, you know, who are trying to get seats in Westminster. And, you know, or if you live in England, you can't vote an SNP candidate in, vote for the Greens. You know? I would say, you know, if you can't vote in an SNP candidate, vote for someone like the Green Party. And I'm saying that as me, personally, not as a member of the SNP. You know, these views on this channel are strictly my own and are not associated with any political party or any organisation that I am involved with. You know, so I'd just kind of like to clear any one of that. You know, anything I say, it's just my personal opinion. But yeah, I would probably look towards voting someone new in, because austerity isn't working, and the three main parties have pledged to continue with it. You know, and the surplus has gone rocketing up. You know, and yet we've had to endure loads of cuts, and there's still loads more to come. You know, and I am not looking forward to it. The rise in UKIP, the UK Independence Party, also quite a dangerous right-wing group. They might seem like, you know, a break from the status quo, but seriously, don't. You know, a lot of members have made it quite plain that they are very old school when it comes to views on things like, you know, women breastfeeding. You know, Nigel Farage thinks that, you know, they should be in a corner somewhere. You know, breastfeeding is perfectly natural. It's not like, you know, it's not like, and I know that this is kind of touching on adult territory, but you don't really see anything. Breastfeeding is usually quite, it's perfectly non, it's a completely non-sexual thing, and quite often you don't actually see a woman's breast while she's actually breastfeeding. A lot of women tend to be kind of private about that sort of thing, but you know what, the kids have got to eat. It's actually good. It's actually good for the baby, if you breastfeed it. So I do not believe that we need a politician, when we're trying to encourage more women to go back to the, breastfeeding. I do not believe that we need a politician telling women not to do so. But I'm only a man, and I am a man. I'm not a woman, and I'm really sorry if any women out there feel that I've overstepped the bounds, by talking about breastfeeding. But that is just something. Obviously, I would normally go to the my favorite hot button of disability, but I feel that UKIP. I need to take a holistic approach to UKIP because they really are a bit of a special case. But that is one thing that has happened recently. Nigel Farage, come out against women breastfeeding in public. A child has got to eat. Has got to get nourishment. Not that you eat breast milk, but you know what I mean. A child has got to be fed. I think I'd be a wee bit worried if a woman wasn't feeding her child. Like I said, you don't actually see anything, and to be honest, if you have a problem with it, that's completely your problem. It's obviously you that's got the problem, not the mothers. So there. I'm gonna kind of put that issue away now, and move completely on. UKIP are also quite known. Nigel Farage said that in 2012 he would, that the NHS ought to be privatised, and we should move to a healthcare system more like America's. Yeah, because that works. Families can't afford healthcare. They do not, there's a lot of people in America that do not see health as a human right. I do see health as a human right, and I remember speaking once to someone in America who actually compared, getting healthcare to getting a new car. It's completely different. You need healthcare to survive. A new car is a luxury. Okay, for some places, some people I would say a car is a necessity, but a brand new car is definitely a luxury. So it's not, you can't live without getting the correct medical treatment. You'll probably end up dying. But you can live without a car. So you can't even compare the two. So don't try. Because it just won't wash with me. But in 2014, Nigel Farage went on the, was saying, oh yes, NHS, better with UKIP. So don't believe a word he says, He's trying to curry favour, UKIP are wanting a referendum, to get England out of the Union. That would be quite interesting, to say the least. I'm not going to say any more on it, because I've not really properly thought about what that would be. But that would be really quite interesting. Because, Wales, Scotland and Northern Ireland do kind of get on really quite well, and we do have a shared heritage, we're Celtics, so it is, we are, we are all of kind of, a similar ilk, so it's, if England want to eject themselves from the Union, we don't need no stinking Westminster. I'm not saying, anything bad against English people, just saying English politics just does not work for Scotland. But, like I said, I couldn't say one way or the other, whether an English ejection from the Union would be a good thing. Best to take anything that UKIP says with a pinch of salt. It's not a good idea to listen to them. Seriously, it's not good for you. Full of E numbers and additives and all that sort of stuff. end up with serious health problems if you ingest too much of what UKIP says you can. Your kids will probably suffer a severe allergic reaction to it as well. Anyway, so yeah, that's the general election of 2015. Another political thing, the Transatlantic Trade and Partnership Act and the Trans-Pacific Partnership, not Act, but neither of them are acts. Now, as far as I know, these are deals. On the surface, it kind of looks like, try to kind of make a more free moving, kind of trade economy thing, for different countries, across the world, try to make, global trading easier. But seriously, what it really boils down to, and this is the bit that people need to be aware of, is that both these acts will actually undermine the power that local and national governments actually have. Because what will happen is businesses will be able to sue a government if they bring in a law that could affect a business's bottom line. Now, this might actually seem quite trivial and quite esoteric, but what it could mean is, a lot of health and safety legislation could have to go because the governments will be sued by businesses, so businesses won't have to have the same sort of responsibility because they can just basically buy, at this point, businesses will literally have free reign to buy in laws. Now, don't get me wrong, I don't believe that this is a new thing. Businesses have been buying in laws for goodness knows how long. I mean, the whole thing with the Stop the Online Piracy Act, SOPA, PIPA, CISPA, that sort of thing. All these things, have been things that have been spearheaded by big business. The record industries, what have you. But TTIP and TPP will completely legitimise it, and I think what we all need to do is kind of pull our weight, pull together, write to our MPs, MSPs, MEPs, Congress people or senators, what have you. Write to your government officials, your lawmakers, what have you. Tell them that you do not agree with this. With the TPP and TTIP, join 38 Degrees, try and volunteer if you can, if there's any stalls going to be in your area, try to campaign against it, try and volunteer if you can, hand out leaflets, make people aware of these acts, because seriously, if these things go through, things like hydraulic fracking, that can be allowed to go unchecked, and they won't have to worry about drinking water, because like I said, if there's any laws, making businesses, not be able to pollute drinking water, these businesses will literally be able to just kind of go all guns blazing and sue the government, because that will affect their bottom line. Bottom line, of course, being profit, just in case you're wondering. It also stands to, any equality laws, certainly, equal pay, equal work for equal pay, taking on people with disabilities, again, they won't have to worry about that, because, again, they'll just be able to, by the repealing of any kind of laws that exist to try and challenge discrimination. So, again, that is something, we've been seeing quite a lot of in 2014. We're going to be seeing a hell of a lot of it in 2015. This whole trade deal is being done in secret. They are scrambling as fast as they can, along, with the no short amount of help from the American government, to try and get these acts in place before we even know what's happening. But, a lot of people know it's online, that these things are happening. Keep your eye on these things. You're not going to get these things from the mainstream media. So seriously, we all need to help try and battle these partnerships, because they will not actually help us. They will help big business. It's more for the rich. seriously. And, you know, if we do manage to stamp out TPP and TTIP, just as it happened with SOPA, PIPA, CESPA, everything else, ACTA, they will, of course, try doing it in different ways. So you need to be vigilant. I hate to sound like Mad-Eye Moody from Harry Potter here, but constant vigilance. We need it. Anyway, I think that's me done with politics. 20 minutes in. Really sorry it's taken so long. Let's talk a bit about computers, because I enjoy talking about computers. Of course, this year, I guess the biggest thing this year for PC users is Windows 8 is going to be replaced with Windows 10. Now, I've taken a look at Windows 10. I foolishly said, oh, but you can't change the colour to anything you want, because I forgot how to use Windows' personalisation features, you know, kind of the colour changer. You can pick any colour you want. You know, I had a look at an early build, I think one of the first release, the first technical preview of Windows 10. I liked what I saw. The start menu is making a return, but it's actually going to be quite, it's actually going to be including bits of the new user interface, so you'll get tiles on the start menu. Active tiles on the start menu is something that I quite like. I like the idea of, you know, an active tile that will show me things like weather, or news, or, you know, tweets, or Facebook happenings. I like that on the start menu. I think that's quite good, and it could even actually have a use in business. You know, because I know that a lot of businesses, you know, that they obviously keeping an eye on things like the stock ticker and local news and what have you. So to have that thing, you know, available to you on the start menu, that's a brilliant design cue by Microsoft right there. There have been a few problems, you know, with Windows 10. You know, there's been a couple of derpy builds, but, you know, hopefully Microsoft will have everything all ironed out. Floppy disk, floppy drive support wasn't present in the earlier builds, but I've been informed that floppy disk, floppy drive support will be implemented into Windows 10, you know, once it releases to manufacturing. And I think that's a good thing. You know, I mean, I do use floppies, as do, you know, a lot of people. There's a hell of a lot of people that do still use these humble wee disks that can only hold, you know, just over a wee megabyte of data. You know, and as people actually do, I believe, use it for modern uses. I think a lot of governments use floppy disks. So, you know, the support for floppy disk drives needs to be there. It's just one of these things that's going to, you know, really die hard. You know, but I know a lot of people didn't like Windows 8, and I didn't at first, but, you know, I actually finally made the upgrade, and I'm on Windows 8 now. You know, I'm really quite happy with it. 2014 has seen, you know, quite a few good updates for Windows 8.1. So, you know, I really do quite like it now. I'm actually in a place with it that, you know, I can handle a bit like I was with Vista Service Pack 2. You know, I coped with Vista Service Pack 2, but once Windows 7 came along, you know, I saw perfectly no reason that I would ever need to use Vista. Apart from, you know, if I was making a Vista era nostalgia PC, which that is something I do plan to do. But with Windows 8.1, you know, if Windows 10 is as successful as Windows 7 was, then I can totally see people actually discarding Windows 8 and, you know, not choosing it at all. A bit like Vista. Windows 8, though, did have a lot of performance increases, Windows 8 and 8.1, and that is personally why I use it. I mean, I use it on my laptop, and it is absolutely brilliant. You know, it just kind of flies along. Love it. Of course, the new Xbox One will be using Windows 10 when it comes out, so, you know, it's all going to be completely unified, I think. And I'd heard, you know, theories about Xbox games coming to PC. I don't know if that would exist. You know, I don't see why they would do that, because why would you buy an Xbox? You know, I can't understand, you know, why Microsoft would be bringing Xbox games to PCs. I would love it if they did, because I personally prefer PC as a platform. But I don't see it happening. Talking of PC games, Grand Theft Auto 5, I believe, is due to hit PCs in January, and you know what? I'm going to be getting it for the PC. You know, I've been waiting for it as long as GTA's been around. And if I'm going to be honest, come on, Rockstar. I don't like having to wait extra time for Grand Theft Auto because I play it on the PC. GTA 4 was a bit of a disappointing port for the PC. You know, my PC will run it. You know, I run it on 720p. It's pretty okay. But you know, it can. You know, it's certainly pretty badly optimized, which is a shame because the original GTA was a lot better on the PC than the PlayStation port. You know, you had high resolution graphics, you had the trains, you had cars that were parked. You know, your cars wouldn't inexplicably go missing anywhere nearly as often on the PC. I mean, it still happened, but not as much. And you had cars with alarms on them, which was also pretty cool. You know, and I just feel that the PC kind of adds something there, you know, to Grand Theft Auto. You know, the PC ports in the past, you know, they've kind of brought good stuff. You know, you had alarmed cars in Grand Theft Auto 3 on the PC as well, and but Grand Theft Auto 5 coming to the PC, I hope it's good. You know, I hope it's like the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One ports. Apparently, Rockstar have announced that there's going to be no more updates for the PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360 parts. I'm surprised that it even came to those platforms. Seriously. I didn't expect that to happen. You know, I thought that, you know, because GTA 5, you know, was going to be a next-gen game, I really did expect PS3 and Xbox 360 users to be left wanting. So the fact that it actually came to those platforms in 2013, you know, I did appreciate that. At the time I had a PlayStation 3 and I did play it, and it was it's pretty good. It's a fantastic game, but it is quite hard, you know, compared to the others. You know, compared to other Grand Theft Autos, you know, you start with missions like drive this person here, go and collect that. But GTA 5, you really, really do get into it quite quickly. So, you know, if you're wanting just to settle down and start a new game of GTA 5 and have it be relaxing, think again. But that said, I would like to. I am looking forward to the PC version. I wonder if the first-person mode is going to be in the PC version. Obviously, I've said in the past, Grand Theft Auto. I mean, I played the original Grand Theft Auto when I was 12 years old. I don't think that there was anything that was too bad. The graphics, they were too crude to really be able to portray anything too dark. Obviously, you know, it wasn't 18, so I can't recommend, you know, parents handing Grand Theft Auto to their under 18 kids. You know, seriously though, with this one, you know, with the fact that you've got the first person camera, you know, and you can hire the services, shall we say, of a prostitute, and you know, you can kind of see what's going on camera. Okay, it's obviously computer generated and you don't see that much, but obviously it's implied. Well, you see a lot, but you don't obviously get to see anything that you don't actually see any too much, you know, any kind of nakedness, believe it or not. But you know exactly what's happening. Obviously, the language used, you know, and obviously the content. I would obviously, you know, really think twice if you're going to buy the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One's parts of Grand Theft Auto 5 for the kids. Think again, honestly, because I do believe that this one really probably does earn its 18 sticker. You know, the race is going to be on for presidential elections in 2016. So this is going to be. This is going to be the final full year that Obama's in power. Obviously, the next president he's obviously going to be in power in 2016 as well. But after that, you know, the next president will be inaugurated, and you know, we get to see Jens. Obviously, you know, Obama's, you know, will be elected out of the White House in 2016, you know, so this is his final full year in power before the election year. I don't know when the primaries happen. I probably should have spoke to LML3 about this. But, you know, if you're going to vote in the primaries, just, you know, be careful about who you vote. You know, same thing with the UK. Sorry, I know I'm back on politics again. You know, just, you know, I personally don't think the Democrats or the Republicans have anything good to offer. Personally, I would like to see Senator Bernie Sanders, who stands as an independent for the state of Vermont, run for president. I believe he speaks a lot of common sense, and I believe that he would actually do great things in the White House. But what do I know? Anyway, back to computers. We spoke about Windows 10. However, this year marks the 20th anniversary of Windows 95, the first operating system by Microsoft to use the current, you know, the start menu and you know, the Windows Explorer. You know, all the paradigms that we kind of know. A lot of the, you know, kind of paradigms that we know today. You know, with the Explorer shell. It started in Windows 95 first. It was Microsoft's, okay, yes, it was a 1632 hybrid, 32-bit hybrid kernel, you know, but you had a lot more 32-bit support within Windows 95 than you ever did with Windows 3.1 with the Win32's extensions installed. You know, finally got rid of the Program Manager. A lot of people were happy to see the Program Manager go because, you know, once you do get a lot of program groups, it's quite clunky. I would expect that Road Geek, Billy Corr, is going to be doing something rather special for this. I'm going to be trying to do something special myself, you know, to mark the 20th anniversary of Microsoft's Windows 95. And, you know, I wonder if Microsoft will do anything also to mark it, you know, because it was, you know, it was a big thing when Windows 95 came out. You know, it heralded the, it kind of really pushed the industry. It really kind of gave the home PC industry a great big shove in the right direction, you know. Computers became a lot easier to use with Windows 95. You know, with Windows 95, you had the tools to be able to connect yourself up to the internet, to an online service. You know, something like that, you know, so it also pushed a lot of people not just to buy a PC, but to buy a PC and connect it to the outside world, you know, the internet, using your telephone line. Of course, the World Wide Web was created in 1991 by Tim Berners-Lee, but I think it really kind of became popular with the, you know, with Windows 95. You know, Microsoft came up with Internet Explorer as well, you know, with the Plus Pack, which was a part of Windows 95. You know, there was a lot of good things happening, you know, with Windows 95. So the 20th anniversary of that is this year. And I bet I forgot a load of things that I did want to mention in 2016, 2015 rather. But I guess now, you know, it's been going on for about 38 minutes, so I guess I can talk about the immediate future of my channel, Videos on Frontier. What can you expect from here? Well, you may have noticed a new starting sequence. You will notice a new credit sequence once this video is finished. You know, after the VSF Christmas, I decided I really wanted to kind of kick it up a notch, kind of change the channel a bit. You know, I've had the maroon and maroon lilac color scheme now, you know, for a couple of years, just under 2 years in fact, and I really quite fancied something a bit more, you know, me in general terms, you know, blue and white, and, you know, with a dash of teal thrown in, you know, blue and white, you know, of course, blue being one of my favourite colours, and blue and white being the colour of the Saltire, which is the Scottish flag. You know, obviously, and I'd like to say a big shout out to Billy Corr, Road Geek, Luke Miller, who's LML3 on YouTube, for actually helping me to design the new VSF logo. You know, we started out, you know, usual typical J things, you know, cup of tea, Compaq Armada Compaq Armada E500 laptop, Scotland flag, you know, that sort of thing. We basically put them all together, and we made a logo. And you know, I used you know, I used FL Studio to make the new music. I wanted to get out of the key of C, you know, because I wanted, you know what, it's an insult. It's an insult to me, it's an insult to the channel, and I guess it's kind of an insult to anyone who watches the channel, you know, that, you know, my last tuning was in the key of C. You know, it kind of stinks of my first GarageBand composition, you know. So, you know, I went to an old favourite of mine for the tune, you know, A major, one of my favourite keys to work with. Really do like the key a lot. Can't understand why. So that is what this theme tune is in. It's an A major, you know, and it kind of, again, you know, it really kind of changes things around. You know, I did try getting rid of the old VSF music when I did the, you know, channel revamp in 2013, you know, when I went for the Maroon and Lilac theme. You know, I did try making a new theme tune, but unfortunately I kind of bowed to peer pressure. You know, there was some certain people saying, can you bring back the old theme tune, we like it, you know. You know, but I like the new one. Elmo 3 liked the new one. So, you know, the new one then. But so, I mean, you know, I came up with this new one, this new theme tune, should I say, last night. Well, I've been working on the new look over, you know, the Yule period. You know, I was so, you know, I came up, you know, I used FL Studio, and I used a MIDI keyboard to help me compose the melody for the credit sequence. And I would like to thank a very special friend for that MIDI keyboard. You know who you are. So, yeah. But for the channel, for the content of the channel, what can we expect? Well, Road Geek has asked me to do a few videos. He's asked me to do an update video on the Packard Bell Legend Multimedia. That's coming up. You know, I've added a zip drive to it now, so you know, I've been playing a few different games on it and trying some different software packages. So, you know, I'm going to be showing that off. I've also been asked to do an update video on the Dell Dimension 4600. I will do that. I personally want to do an update of the Dell Dimension 4100. I've been asked again by Billy Corr, Road Geek, to do a video on how to dual boot between Windows 95 and 3.1, how to set that up. So again, I will do that. I also plan to be working on building a new media center system for the living room. I've bought a machine. I'm waiting for it to arrive. So it's a Dell. That's all I'm going to tell you. It's a Dell, and it's you know, it's good enough that I should be able to run Blu-rays off of it, but it's not the newest system in the world. But I think you'll be able to gather, you know, what kind of a system I might have bought. You know, I bought that with my Christmas money. I'd like to thank my parents for that. Thank you very much. You know, quite a cheap system. Now, this next thing I can't exactly promise, because I don't know what or when or how or why or who, but I would like to be doing things with the Commodore Amiga sometime in the not too distant future, within the next month or so, and next couple of months, you know, so that should be good. I should be getting a Compaq Desk Pro sometime this year from America, that Matthew H16 actually gave me. He's actually left it with Elmo 3, you know, and so Elmo 3, you know, once he can get a box suitable to ship it in, you know, I'm going to pay him the fees to ship it out. So I'd like to, you know, I would like to preliminarily thank Matthew H16 and Elmo 3, you know, for the Compaq Desk Pro. You know, we've tested Elmo 3's tested it. It works. So, you know, I'm looking forward to getting that. Similarly, I'm actually going to be sending Luke Elmo 3, the Slice, to the Compaq Armada 4131T. I've actually sold that machine now. You know, it went on eBay, but the Slice is going to Luke as a late Christmas present. So yeah, back to the Windows 95 thing. I do plan to be at least doing something. Hopefully, you know, if my mood holds up and I can, you know, bring myself to do it, you know, if I'm well enough to do so, I will try and do something a wee bit special for Windows 95. And you know, its 20th birthday. You know, perhaps I should take my box copy of Windows 95 on the town. You know, get a few pints down it, that sort of thing. You know, just take it to the moorings, have a great big old mosh out, that sort of thing. No, I'm only kidding on, but I do plan to do something on this channel for Windows 95's 20th anniversary. You know, I'm really quite looking forward to that. But yeah, so that has been kind of my look at you know, what kind of things we can expect of 2015. I don't believe that we're expecting, you know, hoverboards. You know, I don't expect to see a massive uptake of the use of hoverboards. I don't expect to be seeing self-drying clothing, self-adjusting clothing, self-lacing shoes, flying cars. You know, there's a few things that they've got right. You know, 3D, you know, Back to the Future, 3D TV is with us. You know, we have Google Glass, you know, so it's like, you know, you can actually watch things, you know, kind of glasses, augmented reality, that's pretty good. We don't have body rejuvenation clinics yet, you know, where you can just kind of like upgrade your spleen or what have you, like Dr. Oh jings, that like oh jings, oh, I forget what the doctor's called. Dr. Oh my goodness, that's so embarrassing. I think it's Doc Brown. You know, I don't expect, you know, that sort of stuff. What I would like to see though is a bit more shift. I'd like to kind of see a shift away from the, you know, age of fascism / new feudalism that we seem to be entering ourselves into. I really want to see a shift away from that. You know, there's only so much that people can take, and I reckon there's, you know, going to be a revolution soon. Maybe not 2015, maybe not 2016, but you know, there probably will be a revolution. You know, the people, you know, will speak out and say, look, we don't like what's happening. We don't like being used as pawns on the rich people's chessboard. You know, we don't like it. But certainly I would like to see 2015 being a good year, being a year where I certainly achieve or try to achieve a lot. You know, there's, you know, I've got a lot of thinking to do about, you know, my personal life, you know, where I want to go from here, you know, how I'm going to proceed getting into the job that I want to be doing, you know, try to get the right support plan, you know, fine-tuned and tweaked and what have you, so that, you know, I can start to, you know, maybe make inroads into, you know, managing my depression a bit better, you know, because my depression's been with me now for 5 years, and it doesn't get any easier certainly with the Asperger syndrome and what have you. So I really need for things to happen. Also, one thing I did forget to mention, Android Lollipop. If your phone doesn't have it yet, and it's a newish phone, keep an eye, because I know that Samsung will certainly be looking to bring Lollipop to the Galaxy S5 and certain other devices. You know, I believe that Motorola, LG, HTC, you know, other Android phone manufacturers will actually have plans to upgrade, you know, some of the, you know, more modern handsets to Lollipop in the not too distant future. I expect we'll be seeing the Galaxy S6 in April, you know, or at least sometime in the year. It'd be quite interesting to see what the Galaxy S6 has in terms of specification. And you know, other phones, you know, taking advantage of, you know, Lollipop and its features. I don't know what's going to be next for the iPhone. You know, we'll probably be seeing the 6S or something, or what have you. You know, the successor to the iPhone 6. It'd be interesting to see what iOS 9 comes out looking like. You know, again, I have absolutely no idea, so I'm not even going to speculate on that. You know, but again, you guess, you know, if you're interested, you know, then that's all going to be coming. And yeah, I just don't know what else I can tell you, really. I mean, unfortunately, I know I should keep a lot more eye on the media, but unfortunately, you know, with everything that goes on, you know, all the bad news that happens, I don't actually watch news, because I find that it actually kind of triggers my depression, and I really don't need that. Anyway, I hope you've all enjoyed watching this video. It has gone on for too long, I am aware of that. I'm really sorry about that, but I hope if you like what I've done, please feel free to subscribe to the channel, and like us on Facebook. Follow my website as well. URLs for all of this stuff will be coming up. And please stay tuned for my next video. I'm not sure which it'll be just yet, but I know it's going to be one of the ones that I did mention. I really do hope to get all the videos that I've mentioned out to you. I really do hope to be making a couple more videos a wee bit more regularly. Sorry that I totally botched up the VSF Christmas. That's something that I plan to do in December 2015 as well. VSF Christmas. You know, there's a lot of stuff that I didn't show you this year. Kind of glad that I didn't get around to showing you everything I wanted to this year, because it does mean I've got some content for next year as well. So VSF Christmas will, of course, be making a return if I have anything to do with it. Hopefully it should, you know, and there's a few games and a few things that I do want to show this coming Christmas, you know, next Christmas. But, you know, here I am discussing Christmas at New Year. You know, let's get on with the year. Let's start 2015. Let's make it a good one. Because, you know, I really need it to be a good year. Well, I need every year to be a good year, but, you know, let's work on making 2015 a good year, and then we can work on making, like, subsequent years good as well, you know. So with that said, thank you for watching this video. Once again, Happy New Year to everyone. I hope you all have a very fantastic year ahead, you know, very productive and what have you. You know, I hope you get to achieve everything that you've wanted to achieve, and I hope you don't suffer any too many bumps along the way, or any at all. You know, certainly, you know, we've all kind of been through the mill a bit these last few years, and yeah, I think we need to actually move onwards. Ken, just move onwards. But thank you for watching this video, and please join me for my next one.